Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Northern Block Podcast. It is Friday, February 21st, 2025. We are fresh off of the Four Nations final. I am Nordic 97, joined with LeBlock James. How we doing, LeBlock? Canadian.
We are elated. We are over the moon right now.
I'm sure you are. So, again, as I said, we just wrapped up the final game of the Four Nations face-off in the championship between the United States and Canada. And let me just say, that was probably one of the best hockey games I have watched in a very long time. I gotta be honest. I don't know if it was. Do you think it was better than the other one?
Yeah, I think this game was definitely better than the other. The other one, it was the shock value of the first period, where we had the 3 fights in 12 seconds. This one was you could tell off the draw, everyone was locked into all business.
Yeah. I mean, we could have kind of predicted that. The round robin game is different because, there is some implications, but there wasn't a ton on the line because both teams won their first game.
Yeah.
And we're they went in there, they got into a ton of fights to start. There was a lot of physicality, and then obviously the USA ended up taking the win. But in this game, again, it was still physical. There was definitely a lot of pushing and shoving after the whistle. No fights, though. Nobody was taking any risks. Either that or the refs just weren't calling it. That's the other part.
I think the refs called one penalty all game.
Mm-hmm. They only called one the entire game, and it was on the United States. So it was a very I wouldn't say it was a clean game, but the refs kind of put their whistles away and let the guys play. The only penalty that was called, I gotta be honest, I was like, yeah, that's a penalty. I wasn't complaining about it. If the ref didn't call it, then I think there would have been a lot of outrage from Canadians. But yeah, I mean, again, LeBlanc, I'll let you go off here because you're the Canadian. How does it feel winning the Four Nations Championship?
So I want to say that before we get into what I want to say that the tournament, this game I think felt really personal for me, and for me personally, it felt really personal for Canadians because of all the political stuff surrounding this game and surrounding kind of the tournament as a whole. So it kind of felt like a little personal. This is probably the most anticipated hockey game that I've ever seen, and this is coming from a guy who's seen his team in the Stanley Cup final, who's seen his team deep in the playoffs. I had this circled all week, and it was just one of the games where you knew it was going to be a good game, and it was a really good game. It was, like you said, it was one of the best hockey games I've ever seen, and I'll stand by that. But yeah, this game felt kind of like a personal touch to it. So, and after losing to the U.S. in the round robin, I felt kind of confident going to the final that we were going to take it. What sealed it for me was when the game went to overtime. And I'm going to say this with, I always say it, every time Canada goes to overtime with the United States, Canada always comes out on top. Historically, that's how it's been. And with McDavid's overtime goal, it kind of felt like the passing of the torch from Crosby to McDavid.
I wasn't the only one thinking that. Thank God. Yeah, I gotta be honest. When Crosby was coming down the one end in overtime, I'm like, no way. Are we really doing this again? Are we repeating history? He had that shot on Hellebuck, and I think it was from the same spot where he had it on, what was it, Ryan Miller?
Miller, yes.
Yeah, in 2010. It was honestly from the same area, and I'm like, oh my God, history repeats itself, doesn't it? But no, I also want to say, now that we're on Crosby, I'll get to the McDavid part in a second. The fact that Crosby was injured and played the way he played in this tournament is incredible. It shows how good of a player he is. I think even the ESPN broadcasters were like, if Crosby scores this game-winning goal and golden goal again, put him in the Hall of Fame tomorrow. Yeah. Seriously. With McDavid, honestly, a lot of people were saying in the tournament the entire way through, he needs to wake up, he needs to lock in, he needs to wake up. And he scores when it matters. It was a great goal, a great pass from... Who passed him the puck? Stone?
It was Stone, yes.
Yeah. McCarr threw it around behind the net, and yeah. But again, it showed that it really is the passing of the torch from Crosby to McDavid. I really felt that too, yeah. So, what else were you feeling?
It was Marner. Sorry, not Martin.
Oh, it was Marner?
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to go back to the politics thing now, actually, instead of going back to you. I actually, in a way, kind of respect it from the Canadians in a way. I'm not going to get like too political and all this stuff, but Trump and the Americans were saying things, to be honest with you, would come off as personal. Again, like we have been documenting this since I think the beginning of the month when the tariffs were going on and, you know, all of that stuff. And there was the booing of the anthem in the US and Canada. And, you know, like, how do I word this without getting canceled and getting in trouble? A lot of it, look, I said about the booing thing, I didn't care. But generally, saying the things about 51st State and the tariffs and all of that, it really just like, look, I get, in a way, I didn't understand it. I didn't understand why the United States, for me, was doing all of this stuff. And for Canada to come out in this Four Nations game after losing the round robin and defeat the United States the way they did, it shows that, and I think Trudeau even like tweeted out, it says like, you can't take our country, you can't take our game, and that really kind of stood with me even as an American. And I give a lot of credit to Canada. Like, this is a really big day for them because, again, like, over the last year or so, you know, the United States won 2 World Juniors. You know, they won in the round robin. A lot of us said, I think you even said as a Canadian, from an unbiased perspective, that you thought the USA was a better team.
Yeah.
But this is just, it's such a huge win for this country and for this team because it kind of puts all of those things, especially Trump today saying 51st State and, you know, the people in the White House press coming out and saying things. It kind of puts them all and shuts them all up for the time being, in my opinion. I just think it's great for them.
Yeah, so, like, I think that's the one thing that really stood out, like, 51st State and, like, Governor Trudeau when, you know, for our viewers who don't, well, like, Trump seems like he has been threatening annexation of Canada, of a sovereign nation, which, you know, isn't cool. And I'm going to put for viewers who don't really understand, the Canadians were booing because of this. This is the reason why they were booing the anthem.
Yeah.
It was because of the tariffs, because of the threats of annexation, and the 51st State. I think from my view, from my circle, at least in Canada, it was not received well at all.
No.
And I personally, I was at the game in Ottawa where that was the first like booing happened. I didn't participate because I don't believe in booing the anthem, but I do think everyone has the right to express their displeasure. Everyone has freedom of speech, at least in Canada and the United States. So that's where I really stand on it. And the Canadian anthem did get booed tonight in Boston.
It did. There were some boos, and I was like, oh my god, of course they're booing this friggin' anthem. By the way, the people who sang the anthem for both were the worst picks ever. Like, seriously.
I'm listening to the anthem, and she's English, then French, then she butchers the words in French, and then she butchers the entire. She just did like a fucking remix, like this.
Yeah, like what the hell? And then my other complaint too is why don't you have the guy who sings the Bruins anthems? I forget his name. It escapes my mind. Why didn't you have him instead of some opera singer or whatever? Like, what? Are we seriously right now? Like.
Yeah, I do want to say though the atmospheres at both the Bell Center in Montreal and TD Garden throughout this tournament have been fantastic.
Oh, 100%. The overall like anticipation and excitement around this tournament has been awesome. Not just because of the politics, like the politics do play a role in it, but I think even if you take that out, like the overall like, you know, excitement and, you know, atmosphere in those buildings and overall in this tournament, it showed in the viewership. Again, like we had a stat come out since we made our last episode, over 10 million viewers combined in North America for that Canada versus US round robin game. I feel like it might be more tonight, to be honest with you, maybe. Like it was, the amount of excitement and the amount of hype around this tournament has been crazy, and I gotta give a ton of credit to the NHL because this is probably the best idea they've ever had. Honestly.
Yeah, and they picked the week where they compete with NBA All-Star Weekend, which is
Oh,
which is
yeah.
one of the bigger basketball is on. I think we talked about this last episode where basketball was declining in their ratings and they couldn't really find the next star players to market around. They went up against it on All-Star Weekend and surprisingly did very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
this brought in viewership. I've seen people who are like, I watched the game and now I'm a hockey fan.
Exactly. I got people in my live stream tonight saying that this is the first game they've tuned into and now they want to watch the sport. So just the impact has been amazing. And it really makes me look forward to the Olympics. Like, I'm so excited for next year now.
Mm-hmm.
I am pumped for next year now. I'm ready for it to start tomorrow. Come on. Cancel the season. Let's go to Milan. Like,
I really think they should do the Four Nations every other year, though. I think it'd be cool. Because I think I had this argument with someone else in another group chat of mine. I said, if you do the four, like, then next year's the Olympics, so we're not going to have the Four Nations next year, obviously. But if you do the Four Nations, like I say in general, if you do the Four Nations every year, the players are going to, I feel like the significance of it is going to be less and less and less as years go by.
Yeah.
So, like, I think every other year you get that spark, you get that magic, and I want to see this happen. I want to see this happen again. I really want to see. I think Montreal and Boston were like the two perfect host cities to kick this off. But I'd like to see, like, honestly, like, if they do another Four Nations, imagine like New York City, Toronto.
Yeah, that could work out good. Again, there's a lot of other options you could pick. I saw you. I don't know if you said it in a group chat or on a video. You said Ottawa and Detroit. That wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, I was saying Ottawa and Detroit when Ottawa's new arena gets done.
Or like Minnesota and
Winnipeg.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad. I mean,
Winnipeg needs a new arena for that. Like, I think Montreal has the biggest capacity arena in the NHL. So they pick Montreal because you butts and seats.
Exactly. That's the main way. And again, they picked two perfect places. I mean, I'm not sure if I'm all for the Four Nations every other year. They said they're going to do All-Star games. That's still going to happen every other year, I'd imagine. I would be open to, and hear me out, I've heard this idea get passed around a little bit on podcasts and other things. What if they did a summit series of Canada and the United States?
Yeah, I can see that.
What if they did that in, like, again, as you said, Toronto, New York, Montreal, and Boston. What if they also did Sweden versus Finland, local time in Sweden and Finland?
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
That was something else that I heard. I think the Four Nations is a really good idea, and you could do it again. I think you should experiment with other different kinds of tournaments that we haven't done. Stop doing these boring-ass All-Star games every year. And I love that the World Cup of Hockey is coming. I love that the Olympics are coming. But try some new stuff. See what works. See what does good.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Like, every year, like before this year, every year at the All-Star break, be honest, I did not tune in at all.
Honestly,
I would watch, like, the skills comp, and that's it. I would not watch the All-Star game because it's just the players just don't care. This is their break time. There's not time for them to... Well, we saw players people got hurt. People got injured.
Yeah. So again, like, I think that the All-Star game is past. I think that, bringing it in maybe every other few years would be good because, again, I said it, I think, in our last one that I think that it's only good for the city that's hosting it and if you're there in person, not on TV.
Yeah, I feel like that's a sentiment that I resonate with. But, like, you said you want to experiment. What if you did, like, North America versus Europe?
Again, yeah, that'd be a great idea as well. Like, a summit series and that would break records in view rates for hockey, honestly. So, yeah, I want to go into the game more a little bit because we kind of went off track and started talking about other tournaments that we want to get into. We're here for the championship game. We can talk about that afterwards. But let's go through the game here real quick. Nathan McKinnon scores the first goal. Kind of a nice goal from the point. A lot of players in front from Thomas Harley, who came in late with Josh Morrissey coming out from illness. I got to say, Harley was the replacement for Shea Theodore. I think he was a really good replacement. He really made a name for himself in this tournament. He did really good last year as a rookie, and this year I think really people knew his name with the tournament he had. Do you agree?
I definitely agree. I think Charlie was. I was kind of skeptical when he was named as like the backup replacement, and then he joined the games, and you know what? He really did impress me. And I've always been a fan of Thomas Harley's game, but he really stood out this tournament.
Yeah, exactly. And then that goal from McKinnon, a lot of players in front. You know, I kind of felt like Hellebuck could have had that if he saw it coming at him. But yeah, 1-0 Canada off of that. And then Brady Tkachuk scored right afterwards. Ottawa boy, I'm sure you're happy about that. From Matthews, even though you're an American or Canadian. Makes it, ties the game at 1. It was, I mean, like, some people were saying that, it was a soft goal by Binnington. I mean, it's just like it's a backdoor. Like, I mean, I wasn't
backdoor, yeah, you can't really do much on it.
I didn't think he really had a bad goal necessarily. I didn't think the Sanderson one was that bad either.
No, that one it's out of position. Like he got pulled out of the net and he couldn't really get back.
Yeah, so we'll go into that next. Jake Sanderson, literally the most unlikely player ever to score, makes it 2-1. LeBlanc, I'm sure part of you was kind of jumping up and was like, "Oh my God, Sanderson scored," but part of you was like,
"Listen, if I had to go back into the Americans win, but it's like, but both of my boys like scored the goal. That's death by 1,000 cuts. Like that's death.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's like the same way with me losing as an American, but Travis Sanheim and Travis Konechny both.
Yeah, so, but like I'm happy they score. Like Brady Tkachuk had a really good 4 Nations.
Yeah, really good tournament. I feel like he was somebody along with his brother Matthew who like really were the reason why a lot of new fans were tuning in, and a lot of people were like, "Wow, I really like these Tkachuk guys." Mm-hmm. So, got to give a lot of credit to him. Sam Bennett ties the game afterwards. That's the first time Hellebuck allowed more than 1 goal in a game in this whole tournament, which I thought was a crazy stat. But then again, it is only 2 fucking games.
From my goalie expert Tim said, "Quote: Hellebuck's goal was soft. That Bennett goal was soft on Hellebuck. Hellebuck should have had it."
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was from the same spot where he let in the McKinnon goal, too. Like, I feel like the McKinnon one, I guess I can understand it because it's far away. It's at the point, essentially, like, high slot.
He was screening guys in traffic in front of the net. The
Bennett
one, he kind of went forward a little bit too early.
Yeah. Exactly. So then, third period, there's no goals. It was back and forth a lot. There wasn't a lot of action, to be honest. It was a lot of just back and forth hockey. Overtime was where it was at. Jordan Binnington making me look like a fucking idiot. Like, I said on the Nordcast for like 10 minutes, I'm like, I just don't trust Jordan Binnington. I just don't think that he's good enough. And I think that, I even said it on here. I think, like he is a good goalie. I just don't think he should be starting in a 4-nation tournament. Robs Austin Matthews like 3 times.
Yeah, Binnington in overtime, like, I don't know if he, like brother turned back the clock. Like,
it was because it was in TD Garden. Yeah. That's what a lot of Bruins fans were saying.
But, Binnington had a really good game. Like, after all the talk about, Binnington's not good enough, Binnington, like, especially with the Finland game.
Yeah.
Where, Canada was up 4-1, securely. And then, like, I left for work. It was 4-1. I get out of my Uber, would get into my work. I'm like, what's it 4-3? What the fuck?
I was like, oh my God, we're actually about to see Binnington sell this game. And I gotta admit, like, I thought that John Cooper putting him in for the championship game was not the greatest decision. I actually honestly thought that they were gonna try Hill out in the game against Finland, but they decided to roll with Binnington the whole way through. I think he was always their guy.
Yeah.
And I mean, he proved a lot of doubters wrong in this one. Again, like, this is what he can do when he's not being a fucking idiot. Like, that I think that's the truth. And I got to give a lot of credit to him. And then the overtime winner, Connor McDavid, from Mitch Marner. Again, just, McDavid passing the torch to Crosby. It was a great goal, great game from them. Again, like, I mean, I'm an American, and I could be very salty on here and be like, oh, this is a meaningless tournament. And I'll be making that joke for the next 350 days. Yeah. But, I mean, again, congratulations to the Canadians. It was a great tournament, great game. And as I said earlier, I think they had a lot to prove, and they proved a lot of it here tonight. Couple takeaways, though, from me. We mentioned Jordan Binnington. I want to mention Austin Matthews. 0-7 in Game 7s in championship games. He even said in a quote, "This feels like a game 7." And I literally said, "That's it. Canada's winning the tournament." Like, seriously, right now, why'd you have to say that, dude? But
I want to say Matthews had a good game tonight, though. He had
he did. He did. He did.
He had some good assists. He was very good defensively, though, all tournament.
Yeah. Yeah, he was. I also want to give credit to Jacob Slavin. Oh my God, lockdown might be the best defensive. We've been saying it for a very long time. He is the best defensive defenseman, or one of the best defensive defensemen in the league. I think he might have proved himself as probably the best.
Yeah, and I want to say this because I know we talk about awards every year. The Norris should go to the best defenseman who plays defense.
Oh, if that was how it was, Slavin would be in the Hall of Fame.
Would be up. Yeah, Slavin probably would have a few of them by now.
Yeah.
But yeah, Slavin had a really good tournament. Like, I can probably pinpoint you 5 plays he made that saved a goal for the United States just in this game.
Yeah, I mean, you look back to the other game against Canada. He played phenomenal in that one too. So, again, like, this is a phenomenal defensive defender who is locked up in Carolina, and I think he does often get forgotten by, like, the casual fan. I mean, we're not casuals. We talk about all 32 teams on this pod, and we go into it all the time. But, again, like, Slavin really stood out in this tournament for me. Do you have anything else with the USA? Because I got one complaint that I want to go
I was going to ask you, is there anybody on the United States team that really, like, disappointed you?
Let me drink my water before I go into a rant here. All right. So we mentioned in our last one that Jack Hughes looked invisible. You said that, I believe.
Yes.
He looked even worse tonight. Got knocked off the puck all the time. I'm like, dude, what are we doing? He didn't have. I didn't think he had a single good play tonight.
Yeah, every time I saw Jack Hughes on the ice, he either was getting bodied, or he was
invisible,
or he was getting bullied tonight. Like, I couldn't. I think I saw him on the ground on the ice more than I saw him upright with the puck.
Yeah, it was an embarrassing performance, an embarrassing tournament from him. He was a -2 as well. So again, like, he just did not look great. Seriously. And then 2 guys that I was like, what the hell are you doing on this team? Chris Kreider didn't look that great. He looked better than Hughes. Still wasn't that great. Nelson, where the fuck were you the whole tournament?
Every time I saw Brock Nelson with a puck, every time he shot the puck, he missed the net.
Seriously, I thought I was the only one thinking that. Like, he looked invisible out there. At least he wasn't like Hughes, where he just didn't look good. He just wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
Same can be said for Kreider. Honestly, same can be said for Trocheck. Like, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah,
like,
I was going to say Trocheck didn't really inspire me either.
He wasn't like terrible.
He wasn't terrible. He was like, he's kind of, I want to say, pedestrian.
Yeah, exactly. And he did take that penalty in the game. I thought it was a penalty. I wasn't not going to complain with that, but again, I thought he didn't look that great, honestly. I didn't think Kreider did. I thought Miller was all right. He wasn't that terrible. But yeah, the guys who looked really good were Tkachuk, Matthews, Werenski, I thought, had a good game. Faber was all right defensively. And then Slavin, obviously, and Sanderson, too. Eichel, though, in this game did look a little bit. I didn't see him that much.
I mean, he was carrying the puck into the zone most of the time, and he was more of a facilitator tonight. He wasn't driving the play as much as he should have.
Right.
But,
yeah. For Canada, again, like, there were a lot of players that looked good. McKinnon played a great game. Marner looked surprisingly good.
Really good.
I think somebody said in the game heading into the championship that Marner kind of had a lot to prove. Didn't see him that much in Finland, and I thought that he proved himself well tonight. What do you think?
Yeah, Marner definitely
it hurts you to say, but
Marner got 2 assists tonight. Marner defensively was great, and then offensively, he's finding guys for open passes. Yeah, Marner had a really good game.
You're right.
And for someone who, I'm really used to bashing on Mitch Marner because,
yeah, Sens fan.
Yeah, so, it's weird, but, he had a really good game. I was really impressed by him.
Yeah. Who were some other guys that impressed you or didn't impress you in this tournament overall? It's hard for you to say as the winner, but
Nate Dogg, Nate McKinnon,
yeah.
always impressing me. I want to say Sorelli kind of disappointed me.
Yeah, sir. There was a lot of criticism about Sorelli and Hagel that they got in over like the Tampa Bay bias because of John Cooper being the coach. I think that's part of it. And I also still say that I think these are two cup winners. Actually, Hagel didn't win a cup with them. Never mind. Sorelli did.
Yes, Sorelli did.
They are two very experienced. They know how to win. I thought Sorelli looked sound on the penalty kill at points.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have picked a couple other guys over them for sure. Shifley, I think I would have picked over.
Yeah, Shifley.
But I mean, again, they won, so who the hell cares at this point?
Exactly. But I thought Hagel had a fine tournament. I wasn't too critical of Hagel. More Sorelli. Bennett before tonight, I didn't really like how his tournament was going, but tonight he looked really good. Good energy guy.
Brought it when it mattered.
Yeah, he showed up when the lights were bright. The guy that actually impressed me was Colton Parayko.
Yeah, I was gonna go into that. I was gonna say we were really disappointed when we reacted to the rosters that Travis Sanheim and Parayko made the team. How are you feeling about that now, watching them?
Well, Parayko played really well, and we were very critical because Parayko's advanced analytics in the NHL are not pretty. They're not pretty. I'm not going to stand here and tell you, but this tournament, bro, locked in.
Yeah, he looked really good, especially in tonight's game too. Sanheim, as a Flyers fan, I mean, he wasn't that bad. I mean, honestly, he wasn't that active. I just didn't think that he was. I don't know. I didn't really know if he was I would have picked somebody else over him probably, but I thought he wasn't terrible. I just thought he wasn't he was.
I don't think Sanheim was terrible, but I don't think he was good either.
Yeah, he was pedestrian.
Pedestrian, yeah. That's the word of the day now.
Yeah, and then we mentioned Harley, Doughty. I thought was all right in this game. I thought he wasn't that great.
Doughty got enough ice time in this tournament. I'm not gonna lie to you.
He didn't play a ton. I think a lot of that though might be because of he is coming back from injury. I mean, LA did throw him to the freaking wolves when he came back already, but
yeah, well, I got one player who actually disappointed me.
Oh boy, Sam
Reinhart.
Yeah, Reinhart low-key was invisible. Did he even score at all in this tournament?
I don't think so. I think he got a few assists, but
he does have assists. Oh my god, I wish they would include it.
Yeah, and I can't look up his stats, unfortunately, because they don't have formation stats loaded up here.
Yeah, because they don't exist. I couldn't find them anywhere. But yeah, again, Reinhart did look a little bit invisible, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. They won the tournament. I mean, the guys who showed up, they played very well. We gave credit to Crosby off rip on the show. He had a really good tournament. Injured. I thought he was in the leaderboard for MVP. Do you agree with McKinnon being the MVP though?
Yes.
Okay.
If you gave it to McDavid, I wouldn't bat an eye. But
yeah,
McKinnon was Canada's best forward.
He was, without a doubt. He was sound defensively, was good offensively, hardworking. We saw off the first game of the tournament where he was into the camera and TNT. Did you see that?
I did.
He had that interview where it's the Nate Dogg and you hear Biz in the background going whoa, 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 and you see McKinnon the straightest face ever. Yeah. So
I'm gonna ask you this though.
Okay.
After this tournament, the gap between McDavid and McKinnon, how big is it?
It's not terribly big.
I don't think it's that big. I've been saying that Nathan McKinnon is probably one of the most underappreciated superstars we have in the league.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
He's overshadowed by McDavid.
I think he's the most hardworking.
Mm-hmm.
That guy works.
McKinnon also makes you work.
Yeah. I mean, we've heard the stories of him being
intense.
Yeah, he's an intense freaking guy. But I agree, it's not that big of a gap, honestly. I think that I still take McDavid for obvious reasons, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's as big as a gap as you would think at this point. So I agree with that.
I think the NHL hit a home run with this tournament, though. At the end of the day, this was so fun to watch.
I agree.
It was so like we haven't had something like this in years. So
I mean, you are old enough to remember 2010.
yes,
You were old enough to remember Sochi in 2016.
2014.
2014. You're old enough to remember that stuff, the World Cup of Hockey as well. This was really the first, besides World Juniors, this is really the first time I was able to witness, because in 2010 I was 3. Way to make you feel old.
Yeah.
2014 I was 7. 2016 I was 9. I don't remember that much. I might have watched it. I don't really remember it. But this is the first tournament where I really got to witness international hockey. International hockey, as some people were saying. And if this is how it is all the time, I'm hooked. Seriously.
Yeah.
Give me this every year. Honestly.
Like the Olympics next year's Olympics, they're locked in. Like I'll be locked in.
Even though they're going to be early as hell because of the start time, and Milan is like insane.
It's in Italy, so that's about 5 hours ahead.
Yeah. So the games
are going to be at like 2.
I think the gold medal games are like 7 a.m. You didn't see that?
Oh no!
Hang on.
No, I remember getting it for Sochi. He's like, "All right, get up, 6 a.m."
I think it's on a Sunday too.
Oh.
I'm gonna see if I can try and find it. Oh, here it is. Olympic Winter Games, Milano, full schedule day by day. End of the Olympics games will be 2026. Oh, here we go. Let me go to the end. I can find it because it shows the times. Day 15. Ice hockey, that's the bronze medal match. 2040, 23. Okay, here we go. So Sunday, February 22nd, 2026, day 16. There's 4 gold medal events. The hockey one is 1340 to 1640. What is that in?
So that's 1:30 local time.
That's in local time.
Yes. So that means that if it's Italy's 7 hours ahead. So we're looking at 6 a.m. Yeah.
Bro, Pacific people? Might as well just pull an all-nighter.
Yeah. Might as well.
Oh my god.
That's the one thing I never liked about the Olympics. Well, I mean, I was one of those remember them being in Vancouver when they were like 3 hours behind.
Oh, yeah.
So it was easy to watch. The past 3 Winter Olympics have been in Sochi, South Korea, and Tokyo.
Yeah.
So it's been like, oh yeah, you want to watch it? 2 a.m. start time. Like, well, I'll just watch it tomorrow morning. I'll just watch it when I wake up. Because you just put on recaps on, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think all the games are like that, though. I just think that game is a little bit earlier because of the closing ceremony being that day and all that. You got to do all that shit with the Olympics. I think all the other games are a little bit earlier, like they're like 1 p.m., all of that, but it's gonna be a brutal freaking tournament for that standpoint.
Well, you know what you do? We set the alarms and we got the Red Bulls on stat.
I might pull an all-nighter, seriously. I mean, it's 2026. It'll be February. I'll be in college. Probably be pulling a lot of all-nighters then, but I mean, that's all I got for this episode of the MVP. Nice little half-hour talk there on the Four Nations final block. You got anything else you want to?
Not really. Other than our sport.
There you go. If it was the other way around, I'd probably be a lot more.
David walks into TD Garden, enemy territory, just rips it home.
Yep. It's because they booed the anthem. That's why. All right. Well, that'll do it for this episode of the Northern Block Podcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening. We'll have a new episode within the next couple of days, actually, because we are planning on doing one Sunday still. I think we're going to do a trade board.
Ooh.
I think that's what we're going to do because we haven't really talked. I think LeBlanc's mentioned it, but like we come back and we're right at the trade deadline. Like we're right there. So it's a jam-packed like month of hockey content, MVP content, and we're looking forward for you guys to see it. That's it for us. I'm Nord. That's Block. Thanks for watching, and we'll see ya in the next episode.
Ciao.
I just do what I do. See me? I just do what I do. Man, I just do what I do. To know about you, I just do what I do. Check. That's the intro. See that? Yeah. I just do what I do. See me? I just do what I do. Yo, check. Let me flip this script. I feel privileged for all who can witness this. I am close to divine. Know the moment is mine, need no omen or sign. I sprint. Providing a back sound to all the squares that ask around. We getting it. My skills pay me. Trying to get a million, baby, with an adopted flow that God gave me. Me now. Tell whoever runners that they spot is temporary till I take it as mine. I'm selfish. Your will. Tell Miss I'm on my wealth tip. So when we cash out soon, I'm just investing. Hey, no yes men. I've been a legend since before mom and dad had me and was best friends. I chew through comp, don't test them. I chew on tracks, cause after that I bless them. I just do what I do. You see me? I just do what I do. I just do what I do. I don't know about you. I just do what I do. Check. I just do what I do. You see me? I just do what I do. Feel me? I just do what I do. I don't know about you. I just do what I do.